We've got the Chief Executive's report to come back to. And I just, before I hand over to Carleen, I just want to make one point, and that is that when we became the council, there were no Chief Executive reports. And this has been an enormous...
There wasn't a chief executive, was
there? Well, there wasn't a chief executive. Well, the particular chief executive at that time was on garden leave when we were elected, but we didn't have a chief executive report on the agenda, and it has been a substantial advantage, I think, not just to council but to the public in terms of seeing the work that we've been doing, and it has it's been reviewed and upgraded as we've gone along, and I think it's really looking like a good report, and I think the Chief Executive has gone to a lot of trouble to make sure that it's constantly being re-evaluated so that the information that's coming out through the report is, as I say, not only useful to us as a council but also useful to the public. So I'll now hand over.
The council has never set the agenda either, so that's a welcome change. That it's the whole agenda setting is owned.
But that was my doing.
Yeah. So what did you do?
Not the A team and B team again.
So thank you, and it is constantly evolving as we're getting better information about things and reporting in different ways. I just want to draw your attention to the last couple of pages, just outlining some of the awards that council has received, either been finalists for or won or highly commended. I think it just reflects that despite that people raise issues about council, actually we have enormously talented staff, and they're very professional in the way that they do things, but this really benchmarks the work that happens within the council against the best, and in some cases the council's been seen as the best, and I think it's really important just to acknowledge that, and that that external agencies are acknowledging the things that are happening and the way that staff are working. There's always room for improvement, but I think it's a good example of just the lengths that people are going to and the work that they're doing, and I think it's a really useful thing to note that and acknowledge that.
Yeah. So, I mean, the reason that I wanted this down the agenda was that it anticipated the Thomas Edmonds ban rotunda decision that we were going to make later in the agenda. So I thought it's better to have it after the decision was made, but we were all confident that that was the decision that was going to be made. But questions, Paul?
It's not actually a question. I've just got a note on my agenda just to thank the staff for the great work, because obviously the awards or the nominations for awards is pretty outstanding. There's quite a list of them, so just want you to pass that on back to the staff that keep up the good work.
We just did a quick scan, so there may well be been ones that we've missed.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yanni?
Yeah, thanks. Just wanted to ask when we can get visibility of the priority community projects that we'd previously asked for.
The priority community projects in terms of the capital, so we'll be putting onto the internet our watch list so that people can actually see the proposed dates for consultation, design, execution and construction and so forth. So that'll be coming up shortly.
Okay, and then just the issue of the cost share refresh and the report that was done around the anchor projects that has, I understand it, been released to a local member of parliament and that we had previously asked for and didn't get. Have we received that? And if so, are we able to put that or make that available to the community to see, given the high level of interest?
Yes, so by the time the MP asked for that, a substantial amount of time had gone by, and because we work very closely together, we have most of that information anyway. But we have got that report, and it's available.
Great, okay. And just in terms of the cost share refresh, is government allowing us to do that in public? comes back.
We've already said that. We said that weeks ago, that because when we were originally planning to complete the refresh prior to the election, we had a discussion about how it would be dealt with in public, and no, we didn't get permission from government to do that. We advised them that that was what we were going to do. Okay. And but now that we've made the decision to hold that over until after the election, it will be in public when we debate the cost sharing refresh. Right. If it's concluded, but I'm sure it will be.
I think it's also important to recognise that it's a refresh and updating as opposed to a renegotiation.
It isn't a renegotiation.
Great, thank you. And just the final question from me, or request, is as part of the community board minutes, there was a request to get staff advice on what was happening with Avonside Drive between Gloucester Street and Wainoni Road. And I was just wondering if we could get a report back to the 29th of September meeting on that, because it, essentially it would be good just to finish that loop.
Okay, I think I'm not sure of the timeframes, but we can get you an update of timeframes, and if we can give you any information for the next meeting, we'll do that.
I'm quite keen on this one too, because I was at the same meeting that Yanni was at. I think a couple of others were as well.
The issue basically is that we agreed, I think maybe about a year and a half ago, to keep some roads open in the red zone. Some of that work hasn't been done yet. And in the meantime, there's been, I guess, other ideas for what we might do in that space, particularly around Avonside Drive, given the impact it's having on local residents.
The particular area of Avonside Drive, though, is that area that leads down to Wainoni Road. And it's red zoned on one side, it's got Porritt Park on the other. I mean, it's a mess. And there is a community facility that's operating there. But it's technically red zoned, but they've been allowed to continue to operate for all the right reasons, you know. And Betty Chapman's a saint, you know. So, but it's, you know, when you look at the age of the people who go to the facility every week, and the state of the roads and the footpaths, I mean, it is a very challenging environment.
I think you also need to consider the use of the rowing people there as well, and kids coming from the schools all come down from the Gloucester Street Bridge either by bike or car to get to the rowing
The length of
track.
time it's taking for Woodham Road is part of the problem as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So it would just be good to get what's actually happening there.
But maybe a more comprehensive overview of the area, because that how long's Woodham Road going to take? You know, and it's the multiple use, and it's just because people keep using it, it's just degrading all the time.
It would be good if we could somehow break some of these kind of chicken and eggs. I know it's not easy over the red zone and the roads.
I know.
But I don't understand why the work hasn't happened already, but then staff will be able to go through and give that information.
That's right. And
With the stop banks, there's a whole lot of interrelation.
No. Eh?
You know, those interdependencies over stop banks and things.
They are all interdependent, and it's future use as well. So Yep.
So are you okay if I just?
Oh, we can just do that.
You'll just do that.
Yep.
Okay, that's great.
All right. So Pauline.
Could I ask the Botanic Delights? Because it was incredibly well attended, and justifiably so, because it was just a wonderful show. Is there an option to extend the running time of that?
I'm certain. I'm sure that's an option. That would need to go back to the people that organise it and thinking about how they manage that.
Yeah, I mean, the feedback I've had from a lot of people was that it was really wonderful, but so crowded, and 75,000 people through in 5 days is a considerable number of people.
Except that by the next one, we will have the uplighting in the Botanic Gardens complete anyway, so it should be much more dramatic and more often as well. The uplighting that we're doing in the Botanic Gardens will start in February. So by the time of the next Botanic Delights, it should be quite...
It'll extend it.
No, they don't need to. They don't need to. There is money on budget. There's 3 years' money, and there's...
No, this is Botanic Delights.
I know.
The actual delights, because that's...
Well, no, they will be related.
They'll be complementary, but I think Pauline's point is that with the short period of time,
Gets
it
too
did
crowded.
attract, I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
And I think these are all reviewed each year, so we'll take that into account.
Yeah, because I suppose there's no real way of limiting numbers that go through. I mean, there could be a point where you have too many.
Well, the way to do it would be to put more dates there, so therefore, and so people shouldn't frustrate about it. It's quite simple. But the fact of the matter is, we run it one day, we run it 5, 10, 15 days, the cost is the same today. So the point is
Budget.
Yep. All right, so would someone like to move that the report be received? David, seconded Pauline. I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. That's carried.